This should be fun, so feel free to interrupt if you need to or ask questions or whatever. I was talking to some of my colleagues who also went to ad school, and I was saying, what can I tell these people that's going to be interesting to them? And they're like, well, Brenna, they're really smart people. And I was like, they already know all this stuff. And I was like, shit, I can't, what am I going to do then? So I think the one thing I can kind of provide is a lens and a way to kind of bring the mobile ideas to life a little more in a way that our clients are more likely to buy into, in a way that our creative directors are more likely to buy into. So it's just kind of give you a couple frames of reference and then some examples of how we've incorporated that thinking into what we're doing. So who cares about this device? The reality is that the consumers care, so we kind of have to care, right? So this platform is exploding. Like right now it's about 30% smartphone penetration. It's going to go up to 50% in the next 2 years. How many of you have smartphones, actually? I'm just curious. Yeah, so like the vast majority of this room has smartphones. Again, more users will access the web from their phone or the PC. So if you think about that, that's kind of crazy. Like more people are going to be accessing the internet from this than that. That's insane. And then, this is actually to a commerce thing. Like people are buying things on it. So it can really kind of bring people from every aspect of marketing all rolled into like one device. I think that you can kind of make the ideas better and stuff if you have these frames of reference, especially in terms of like the mobile space. I think there's certain nuances that can help make the ideas better and more real. Again, I think if you're going to concept something for mobile, it shouldn't just be like, we need an app because that's what everyone's talking about, and my creative director is telling me we need an app in this, in this campaign. I think you really need to think about why are you doing it? Like, what is the reason behind it? So that's kind of just like the first thing. Like, why are we doing mobile? So Ernst is one of our clients, and we have their recruiting business. So we're trying to get people excited about applying to Ernst & Young. So we found that none of the other accounting firms were really talking to people from their phones, and yet that's probably like the heaviest media usage thing a college student can be doing. Like they're texting all day. So we thought, after we kind of had that consumer insight, we're like, well, we need to speak to them on this device because that's what they're doing all day. So we actually activated all of our outdoor campus advertising and our print advertising with these text messages. And the text messages weren't just like spam. They were like for people who really wanted to get into Ernst & Young. We were giving them these exclusive tips about the company and how they can improve on their interview. So it was actually giving them something of value in a way that meant something to them. So we kind of knew that mobile would be right for that reason. This is something, I'm not sure, have you guys seen this? It's Samsung Shakedown. It's actually from abroad. Has anyone seen it? This is really neat, and this actually won an award at Cannes. And basically what it is they use mobile because they were trying to convince people that their mobile phone was better than the one they had right now because it was so durable. So what you could actually do is you could participate. You would text in these numbers, and you would shake the table, and then eventually they would fall into all these like concrete surfaces, water, like everything, and show that the phone was just that durable that it would survive. And then the person who got it to actually fall off the table would win the phone. So again, there's a reason they're talking to people in the mobile space, and they're using text messaging, and it's about a phone, so there's a real clear connection to why they're doing it. Again, applications are great, and they are often the way that people kind of communicate with brands and their devices, but there's so much more. Like you can do text, you can do MMS, like picture or video text, you can build a mobile site. I think people overlook kind of the mobile web, but it's going to be huge, especially now that we have 4G here in a bigger way. It's just going to keep getting bigger. Like the mobile web is going to get that much better, so you're going to be able to watch video content in a lot more like interesting way, better user experience. The mobile web is huge. Geofencing, being able to send a text message to people only when they're in the vicinity of a certain place. So I'm walking by a McDonald's and now I get a text message that says, hey, stop in for 50 cents off on breakfast, because it knows I'm in a very specific time in a very specific place. So you can really start getting really relevant. QR code, you guys, we saw that in a lot of work today. I think you realize that. I think a lot of people have a lot of different feelings on the iAd. I think it was great for the mobile marketing industry. It really brought a lot of attention to it, and I think it got a lot of creative people excited about the mobile space, and that's kind of like the IMAX of like mobile video and mobile richer experiences right now, so that's an opportunity. Mobile gaming is huge. If you look at the top 10 downloaded apps right now, I'd say like half of them are probably these like stupid mobile games, so is there a way to leverage that for brands? You can build into other applications to offer more utility. You can augmented reality, mobile video, location-based services, loyalty, you got it. Another way to think about the technology, like you really have to understand like the different technology, what you can do with it. So like some things that are specific to mobile that aren't necessarily available in PC are like this very specific location information. So I'm just using that as an example, but like all of a sudden now we know where someone is. So is there a way to tie the messaging into knowing that information? This is something that people touch. So it's like they're touching it. So does the creative now become something that is movable with the finger, so with fingers? So I think it's again another consideration you have to make considering this technology. It's shakeable. There's an accelerometer in this thing, and like motion can be affected. And so again, is there a way to kind of thinking about motion? Is that a new way to bring to life some idea that you've had? And then it's really personal. So like this is like something that people have on them 24/7, and they have all this, their context, all their personal relationships. This is like a really personal device. So again, if there's a way to kind of tap into that customization or something, I think that's another great way to think about the space. So another piece of like this whole mobile consideration thing is brand. So it's not just like this is something in and of itself and people only interact with this in like an isolated way. You know, it's part of a bigger picture. I think what Kit and I are talking about too is like, how does it fit in with a whole brand? So something we did for Timberland was that what they care about is helping people like you guys here, like urban city dwellers who care about getting outside, providing them with ways to find that time or like find out where they can go. So all they want is people just to be able to spend time outdoors if that's what they care about. So what we did was we built this app called Urban Hikes, and it was really rooted in real utility because we allowed for certain like top DMAs or something. What you would do is you would open it up, and it would tell you like, here's the hiking trails around you, and by the way, here's some songs you can listen to while you're hiking, and a little mobile gaming aspect we built into this app. So it was a real app like based on utility, but like again about what the brand was about. And then another thing, again, you'll see this woven throughout, like the consumer is like the first consideration now, and I think kind of mobile is taking us there, so it's really cool. What we did for Olympus tonight was we found out that what they care about most is being able to experiment with the camera, like feel different cameras and experiment with them, and then they'd be more likely to buy. So we're like, all right, well we have this great new technology called the iPad, and how can we kind of leverage that to let our consumers really feel what it's like to be a part of the camera? So we, you could kind of touch these different things and you'd experience the real filters of the camera. So this image would change based on the filters. And we also, so another thing is sometimes mobile makes sense because it directly relates to the product. So again, for like the Samsung thing, like the product is mobile, so it makes sense if you're trying to get people to ditch their current phones and talk to them on that medium, right? So, this is an example of an iAd, and it's just, I think it's on Leaf, but kind of especially made sense for them because the car itself has like an iPhone connection. So again, like it's a direct tie to Apple and the product, so it makes sense to kind of tell people who have that product, like this car is also really compliant with something you already love. And so I think kind of like wrapping this up, like I was talking to Maria last night too, like this is a real opportunity, this space. Everyone knows that mobile isn't going away, so if you can kind of brand yourself as someone who understands it, like people are going to listen. And so I would just suggest, and this is a quote from Michael, he's not here again, but like it's reassuring to know students are getting coming into assignments like this, you know, it's going to continue to be a part of their required skill set. So if you can kind of start to build that now, I think it's a real opportunity. And just even as Mullen, we found that, like when we announced that we were going to have someone dedicated to this 100%, like we got tons of press and ad age and media posts and all these, and we weren't even expecting it. So I think just showing that you're like paying attention and have this like specialty can kind of really enhance your career. And it's like enhanced mine a lot too, just like personally, in terms of getting recognition and stuff. So I just think that's something to think about. So this is part of the drama of the whole thing, right? So how anxious are you to get your phone back? It's kind of the reason, the connection people have to this device and everything it can do are kind of the reasons why we think it's one of the most powerful marketing platforms in the world. And then, you know, have a great weekend, maybe have a beer on your iPhone. That's it. So why don't we question? Yeah.